Just in case you find out you have a bond, there will be a list of bonding agencies that you can call. You'll be going to processing if you have a bond. And their phone figure, they usually have to pay somewhere around 10% or whatever you negotiate with that bonding agency. Okay? If you need help on that. If you find you have one. If you're going to release, okay, whether you're ORs or PSAs, pre-child services, you'll be going to release. They have phones. I said, if you're going to be released, you'll go to release. But yes, it's here in the building. The more fuel business. It still takes about 4 to 6 hours to get you to this stuff. No, it'll be daytime here to get released. So, but we're not as busy as we usually are on a Sunday, so that's in your favor if you're looking to. But it's good. All right, stand up.
Thank you. You may be seated. Good morning. This is the time set for the 5 a.m. calendar on February 10th, 2025. The court's orders for the taking of DNA and fingerprints that were given on the first calendar of this month shall apply to all matters on this calendar. I'll call you each one at a time to the podium, and I'll provide a second name to sit in the chair outside of the room. We'll start with Manuel Zavala to the podium and Felicia James to the chair. Good morning, sir. Could I get your name and date of birth?
Good morning, Manuel Zavala, May 5th, 1990.
Thank you. It does look like you've got 2 cases on the calendar.
Okay.
We've got a new Superior Court case, and it includes 1 count of dangerous drug possession, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. Probable cause has been found, and I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you.
Okay.
You're going to have a status conference on February 14th at 8:30, a preliminary hearing on the same date at an evidentiary hearing on February 14th at 1:30, and a preliminary hearing on February 19th at 8:30. It looks like you have a second case on the calendar, and it looks like you failed to appear at a hearing. I'm going to affirm the attorney that was previously appointed to represent you. And you're going to have the same status and preliminary hearing dates, so February 14th at 8:30 and February 19th at 8:30. Because you were out on felony release at the time you were picked up for these new charges today, you will be held non-bondable on the new charges. The hearing set on February 14th at 1:30 is the time set for your attorney to present evidence to the court to determine if bond will be set on your new charges. On the previous case, your failure to appear, you do have a secured appearance bond of $2,500. However, I wouldn't recommend posting that until you know if bond is going to be set on the new charges, because you'll be held non-bondable on that case, okay? Did you have any questions?
So the bond will be, I can't be released today without, or will I be
No,
released?
you can't be released until you see the judge on February 14th at 1:30, because you're being held non-bondable because you were out on felony release on your other case when you were picked up on these charges.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, that's it.
Okay, just up to your left. Thank you, sir. Felicia James to the podium and Donald Danley to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
I was born on the 14th day of September in the year of our Lord, 1976. And on that day, I was born into the Joseph family. And on that day, they named me Felicia Anita.
And your last name?
It is now currently James.
Thank you, ma'am. It does look like we have 2 cases on the calendar this morning. We've got a new Superior Court case, and it does include 1 count of dangerous drug possession, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of narcotic drug possession, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. For today's purposes only, I am not finding probable cause as to the 1 count of narcotic drug possession, but I am finding probable cause to the other 2 counts. I am appointing counsel to represent you, and I'm going to give you some hearings in the downtown Superior Courthouse. You're going to have a status conference on February 14th at 8:30, an evidentiary hearing that same date at 1:30 in the afternoon, and a preliminary hearing on February 19th at 8:30. It looks like you also have a failure to appear bench warrant that was issued for you. I'm going to affirm the attorney that was previously appointed to represent you, and you're going to have a status conference on February 14th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on February 19th at 8:30. So those dates apply to both cases. On your new charges, because you were out on felony release at the time you were picked up for these new offenses, you will be held non-bondable tonight. For the hearing that you failed to appear at, you have a secured appearance bond of $1,800. However, I wouldn't recommend posting that until you know if they're going to set bond on your new charges. If you'll step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork, ma'am. Other way. Mr. Danley to the podium and Mr. Choi to the chair. Good morning, sir. Could I get your name and date of birth?
My first name is Donnell. My last name is Danley, Your Honor.
Say that one more time. I'm so sorry.
My first name is Donnell. My last name is Danley. My birthday is 7/25/1978.
Thank you so much, sir. And do we have the state on the line?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is on the line. Good morning, Your Honor. Ashley Stetson on behalf of the state.
Thank you. And it does look like we have 1 case on the calendar, and it's a new Superior Court case. It does include 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of assault, a Class 1 misdemeanor, 1 count of disorderly conduct, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and 1 count of preventing or interfering with allowing the person to obtain a telephone to contact emergency services, a Class 2 misdemeanor. Probable cause has been found, and I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. I'm going to give you some hearings. You're going to have a status conference on February 14th at 8:30 in the morning and a preliminary hearing on February 19th at 8:30 in the morning. And now we're going to talk about your release conditions. Ms. Stetson, did you have some recommendations from the state?
Yes, Your Honor. And the state would be asking for bond to be set in the amount of $50,000 secured based on the allegations of this case, based on the victim actually having a previous order of protection in place that has since expired, as well as the suspect's criminal history, Your Honor. According to the Arizona Department of Corrections alone, Your Honor, the suspect has done 1, 2, 3, 4 DOC sentences for aggravated assault alone, Your Honor. Additionally, he has a conviction for attempted burglary in the 2nd degree. He has multiple misdemeanor convictions for interfering with judicial proceedings. He had the felony arrest conviction. He also has where did I see it? He also has past drug offenses. So, Your Honor, the state believes that the $50,000 is an appropriate amount given the defendant's criminal history, given the allegations in this case, and given the fact that there is ongoing domestic violence in this case, Your Honor. The state would also bring Your Honor's attention to Section F of the Form 4 that addresses domestic violence issues. Of those, the boxes that were checked, those were threats of homicide, suicide, bodily harm, prior history of DV, frequency or intensity of DV increasing, access to weapons, Your Honor. That is also concerning given the suspect is a prohibited possessor. He is a convicted felon, so the state believes that $50,000 is appropriate. The state would also be asking for standard conditions as well as electronic monitoring and a curfew, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stetson. And sir, I am going to give you an opportunity to speak. Before I do that, I do just want to mention that You are being recorded. You do not have your attorney here tonight, and the prosecutor is listening. So with that in mind.
Your Honor, I've been out of prison almost 5 years this year. Haven't had any contact with any police. This is a separate situation that none of this take place. I'm working, I'm doing good, I'm established in life, I'm actually trying to get things back going. I don't want to really address the guilty or not guilty, but I'm going to plead not guilty here. Your Honor, it's just, I want to be able to get out and continue my life, and continue to move forward through this situation. I talked to the guy that works at pre-trial services, and I guess he said he didn't have a problem with me getting out on that. Like I said, I have been out over 4 years. I have not having any contact with any police. I basically had a little minor setback. Besides that, I have actually been doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing as far as taking care of the stuff that I need to take care of. Just minor setbacks, and I'm going to have a major setback in my life. I'm going to deal with this. I will show up to my court dates, and I will continue to come to court, and I will face this like a man. That's all I have to say, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to set a secured appearance bond of $10,000. If that bond is posted, you're going to be released to pretrial services, and you'll be equipped with electronic monitoring before you leave. You will have written conditions of release, and those conditions will include not returning to the scene of the alleged crime, no contact with any alleged victims, complainants, or witnesses. If you do reside with any of the alleged complainants or victims, then you will have to find a temporary residence. If you need to collect any personal belongings, you can do so by contacting law enforcement for one civil standby. Did you have any questions relating to these orders? Yes, Your Honor. So I'm eligible to get out on pretrial services. Is that what you're saying? Or I have to post? I'm not going to be able to afford that kind of money right now. If you can lower that bond, I really appreciate it. There's no way I can afford anything like that. I was asking if I could get released on pretrial service, maybe an ankle monitor, whatever it takes, Your Honor. I'm not going to go back around her. I'm not going to deal with that. I have family members that I can live with. I don't have the type of money for us. I'm not have that kind of money put away, and I don't have access to that kind of money. So if you can, basically, Your Honor, I appreciate it if you can release me pretrial services, and I will do whatever they ask me to do. So I do have 15 factors I have to consider when I'm setting bond, and it does include the nature of the circumstances. It does include previous failure to appear and your previous criminal history. And so I already have lowered it substantially from what the state is recommending, which is the $50,000. The secured appearance bond of $10,000 is going to remain. It is secured, meaning you can use a bail bonding company, which means it's typically about 10% plus collateral. You can contact a couple different ones to see what each one of them offers. If that is posted, you will then be released to pretrial services with the electronic monitoring. Anything else, sir? No, thank you, Your Honor. Thank you so much. If you'll step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork. Mr. Choi to the podium, and Prince Bohorlo to the chair. Good morning, sir. Can I get your name and date of birth? Sorry. Ms. Stetson, I'm sorry?
Oh, go ahead, Your Honor. I just wanted to address the court before you went into advising the suspect of the charges.
Okay. Thank you so much, counsel. Sir, can I get your name and date of birth?
Yeah. My name is Kwang Choi, and March 1st, 1975.
Thank you so much, sir. And can I get the state's appearance?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, Ashley Stetson on behalf of the state.
Thank you, Ms. Stetson. It does look like we are here on a new Superior Court case. And counsel, would you like to provide us some information?
Yes, Your Honor. Before Your Honor advises the suspect on his charges, at this time, Your Honor, the state is only asking you to find probable cause on the aggravated assault adult on minor, Your Honor. At this time, in the abundance of caution, the state needs to do additional research on case law to determine the aggravated assault deadly weapon in terms of the use of pepper spray, Your Honor. So at this time, we're just asking for probable cause to be found on the 6 charges for aggravated assault adult and minor. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. All right, sir. So right now, what you've been booked in for is for 6 counts of aggravated assault adult on minor, a Class 6 felony, and 4 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, a Class 6 felony. And so for purposes of this hearing only, I'm only finding probable cause as to the 6 counts of aggravated assault adult on minor. That does not mean that the other 4 counts are being dismissed. As you just heard the state say, they are going to do some additional research, and so they still may charge you with those. I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you, and I'm going to set a couple of hearings in the downtown Superior Courthouse. You're going to have a status conference on February 14th at 8:30 in the morning, and a preliminary hearing on February 19th at 8:30 in the morning. And Ms. Stetson, did the state want to put their recommendations on the record for the release conditions?
Yes, Your Honor. The state at this time is going to be asking for $5,000 secured appearance bond. The allegations are in this case that there were 3 individuals. They are noted in the Form 4 as victims 1, 2, and 3. They, according to the suspect, have had a history of going into the suspect's place of employment and potentially harassing the suspect. The suspect in this case did pepper spray them when they came into his place of business yesterday, Your Honor. There were no, the allegations don't suggest that those 3 victims did any sort of harassment at this time. However, the suspect did pepper spray them. The suspect then did chase those 3 victims outside of his place of employment, and he continued to pepper spray them. In the process of pepper spraying those 3 initial victims, there were 6 additional victims that were pepper sprayed, and those victims are ages 1, 8, 11, 11, 12, and 12, Your Honor. So at this time, the state is just asking for standard release conditions and a bond of $5,000. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. I am going to set a secured appearance bond today of $5,000. If you do post that bond, you'll have written conditions of release. It will include no contact with any alleged victims, complainants, or witnesses. All of that will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions, sir?
No, ma'am.
Okay, if you'll step to your left, we'll need to reprint this one. They'll bring that out to you in just a moment. Prince Vahorlo to the podium and Gregory Karstensen to the chair.
You have to remove the hat before you come into the courtroom.
And what if I told you that this is not a hat? This is why I wear it with my hair doesn't look bad. I'm just gonna go there and stupid as well.
Like you said, you're wearing it so that your hair doesn't look bad, but you have to remove it for the courtroom. You can put it back on when you come back out here.
No.
No? Okay. Your Honor, he's not willing to remove the hat before he comes into the courtroom.
It's my hat. I just wear it for every.
Okay, go ahead and just take a seat back out there then, sir. We'll go ahead and bring in Mr. Karstensen to the podium and Ms. Petty to the chair. I'm going to wait and I'll call him again at the end. Thank you. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Gregory Karstensen. My birthday is February 18th, 1986.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like we're here on a new Superior Court case. It does include 1 count of possession of a weapon by a prohibited person, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of aggravated DUI with a license that was suspended or revoked for a previous DUI, a Class 4 felony. Probable cause has been found, and I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you. I'm going to give you some hearings in the downtown Superior Courthouse. You're going to have a status conference on February 14th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on February 19th at 8:30. You're going to have a secured appearance bond in this case in the amount of $1,500. If bond is posted, you'll have written conditions of release you'll need to comply with, and all of that will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
The bond, does that mean is it just cash, or am I able to put something up? Is that what you're telling me?
So it is a secured appearance bond, meaning you can use a bail bonding company.
Okay.
So you can have a contract written with them, which is typically where you would put up a percentage plus collateral.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, if you'll step to your left, we're going to need to reprint that paperwork. If you'll step to your left, they'll bring you that paperwork out. Ms. Petty to the podium and Mr. Ortiz to the chair. Good morning, ma'am. Could I get your name and date of birth?
Jordan Petty, December 12th, 2003.
Thank you, ma'am. It does look like you're here on 1 case. It's a failure to appear bench warrant that was issued for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to affirm the attorney that was previously appointed to represent you and give you a status conference on February 19th at 8:30 a.m. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $750 in this case. If you post bond, you'll have written conditions of release you'll need to comply with. All of that will be listed in your paperwork. Did you have any questions, ma'am?
Do I have any holds out of anywhere else?
I can't always see that. Right now, my notes do not indicate that.
Okay.
But if it's for a city court that's not on my system, that you could have one, but the officers would have more information on that. But from what I can tell, it's no. But that doesn't mean you don't have a city one that I can't see.
And the $750, am I able to get a bondsman for that, or is that just all out flat?
It is a secured appearance bond, so you can contact a government company.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ortiz to the podium. Mr. Babinchak to the chair. Good morning, sir. Could I get your name and date of birth?
Stephen Michael Ortiz, 10-15-94.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like you have two cases on the calendar this morning. You've got a probation violation warrant. They've alleged you violated terms 1, 3, and 5 of your probation. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you in that case and set a probation revocation hearing on February 14th at 8:30. You also have a direct complaint that was filed, and it's for an offense date of August 25th, 2024, and it includes 1 count of dangerous drug possession, a Class 4 felony, 2 counts of narcotic drug possession, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you in that case, and you're going to have a status conference on February 14th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on February 19th at 8:30. I am affirming the secured appearance bond of $100 in that case. And in your probation revocation case, you have a secured appearance bond of $500. So between the two cases, it's a total of $600. If you do post that bond, you'll have written conditions of release you'll need to comply with that will include contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. All of that will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions? Okay, if the step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork. Mr. Babinchak to the podium, and Mr. Beckwith to the chair. Good morning, sir. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Bojan Babinchak, 11487.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like you're here on one case, the failure to appear warrant. I am going to affirm the attorney that was previously appointed to represent you and set a status conference on February 14th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on February 19th at 8:30. I am affirming the secured appearance bond of $500. If that bond is posted, you'll have written conditions of release you need to comply with. All of that will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
No.
Thank you. If you step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork. Mr. Beckwith to the podium, and Mr. Pedro Fajardo to the chair. Good morning, sir. Could I get your name and date of birth?
Michael Beckwith, 11/30/66.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like we're here on a probation violation warrant. They've alleged you violated terms 1, 3, 4, and 5 of your probation. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you and set a probation revocation hearing on February 14th at 8:30. I'm affirming the secured appearance bond of $500 in this case. If you post bond, you'll have written conditions of release to include contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. That will all be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions? Okay, so step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork. Pedro Fajardo to the podium and Dovar Flores to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Pedro Fajardo, 11/24/92.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you have two cases on the calendar this morning. It looks like they're both probation violation warrants.
Yeah.
They've alleged you violated terms 3, 4, 5, and 7 of your probation in each case. I'm going to appoint counsel in both cases and set a probation revocation hearing on February 14th at 8:30. In one case, you have a secured appearance bond of $50. In the other case, it's $250. So it's a total secured appearance bond of $300. If bond is posted, you will have written conditions of release to include contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. All of that will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions? If you'll step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork. Mr. Flores to the podium and Mr. Espinoza to the chair.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Dovar Flores, 06/17/1985.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you have two cases on the calendar this morning. The first one is a probation violation warrant. They've alleged you violated terms 3, 4, 5, and 7 of your probation. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you and set a probation revocation hearing on February 14th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $250 in this case. You also have a new charge coming out of the Guadalupe Municipal Court. I am going to appoint counsel in that case as well, and you'll have an arraignment hearing, but that will take place in the Guadalupe Municipal Court, which is currently being held in Tempe. The address will be on your paperwork. That hearing's February 12th at 9 a.m. You have a secured appearance bond in this case of $50. So between the two cases, it's $300. If that bond is posted, you'll have written conditions of release to include contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. All of that will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
Yes. I was in court on February 5th for the probation revocation, and I have court on March 5th now. We had it rescheduled. My grandmother passed away, and her funeral is this coming Thursday. And so I'm not sure where the warrant that they picked me up for came out of, since that court is for the same probation. And we already went to court on February 5th, and it's now it was rescheduled for March 5th. I was with Judge Gantz, and so I'm not sure where the mix-up is there.
The warrant issued prior to that other hearing on January 13th because they've alleged you failed to comply with all of your probation terms. They have quite a bit listed in here for your failure to comply, and so even when the court reset that hearing, they affirmed their warrant that they issued for failing to comply with the probation department.
Okay.
So it issued prior to that hearing.
Okay, so, and then I had been to court prior to that. So the court that was on the 7th, I believe it was January 6th or 7th, that court, there was a warrant issued out after that particular court date. So does that mean that they weren't in communication with Judge Gantz, or they were, or, because it looks like it was a whole new judge that had issued out that particular warrant. And I guess I'm just confused. I didn't know that Judge Gantz had affirmed the warrant in I guess my court on the 5th of February. And I would have thought she would have released that warrant, or at least
Yeah, it was a different judge who issued the warrant, but it was Judge Gantz who acknowledged resetting to March 3rd, but then it says it's further order affirming the active warrant issued on January 13th. So she did, in fact, affirm that warrant that was previously issued prior to that hearing. Okay. When you meet with your counsel at the next hearing, which in this case will be Friday at 8:30, they can give you some more information and kind of sort that out. That's just what it's showing right now, but you will have to post a $300 bond in order to be released on the two cases. If you do post that bond, again, make sure you go to the hearing it's the Guadalupe Municipal Court, but they've actually are being,
I believe,
I think it's Tempe now, actually.
Did they move it to Tempe? Okay.
Let me see. Yeah, it's the street in Tempe. So the exact address is on there. The Tempe courts are currently hearing those cases for them. And that is this Wednesday. So that's 2 days from now that you'll need to attend that one. And that's for the new charge. And then you'll need to go to the Superior Court, and that address will be listed in your paperwork. And that one's Friday. And
if bond is posted, though, of the 300, I'll be able to get released and make it to the funeral on Thursday, is what you're saying? Though?
Once it gets posted, they'll process you in like 4 to 6 hours, and you'll be released.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Anything else, sir?
No.
Okay, thank you. If you'll step to your left, we'll give you that paperwork.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Espinoza to the podium and Ms. Rodriguez to the chair. Okay. Okay. Is it 30 or 31? Oh, 31. 1 second, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So just amend it. Okay. Will that work? Did that work? Okay, thank you. All right. Sorry about that, sir. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Jack Espinoza, 4/12/06.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you're here on a warrant coming out of the Peoria Municipal Court.
Yes, ma'am.
It looks like it's for an offense date of December 16th, 2023. It includes 1 count of disorderly conduct, no, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and 1 count of criminal damage. Both are Class 1 misdemeanors.
Yes, ma'am.
I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you and give you an arraignment hearing in the Peoria Municipal Court on February 13th at 9 a.m. In this case, you have a cash-only appearance bond of $250. If you post that bond, you'll have written conditions of release you need to comply with, and you'll need to ensure you attend that hearing in the Peoria Municipal Court. All of that will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
Yeah, so 2023, when that happened, I was 17 at the time, and when it hit 2024, we had tried to, they kept coming over, like, to my house and stuff to ask for my statement and this and that, so I had said I wasn't giving the statement, and in about, like, March of 2024, they told me everything had been dropped, so I didn't look more into it, and then I had moved from the current address I was living at, so when they had issued out the court, I never got that paper, so that's why I failed to appear court, so I wasn't aware of that court. That was to a different address.
They may not have set a hearing because it's a municipal court. They don't have a lot of information, but they are labeling this as an initial arrest warrant, and it was just recently issued. So despite the fact that the offense date was in 2023, they issued this warrant on January 2nd, 2025.
Yeah, that's when I had got the second paper, but on that paper that I had got where they issued the warrant, it said I failed to appear court in August.
Okay. And that may be true. Again, I just don't know because I don't have access to anything other than the warrant with it being a municipal court. You can definitely address that with the assigned judge who issued this when you go to hearing on February 13th, but unfortunately I have no additional information other than the warrant that issued.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else, sir?
So, what was like the...
You have a cash bond of $250.
So, well, we're just, we'll go from there, like,
Can you explain more what you're asking?
Sorry about that. Like, when would that be to be released? It'd be two.
Correct. So if you post the $250 bond, then you'll be released from custody. You'll attend that hearing on February 13th. If you fail to appear at any of the hearings, then that's when you risk forfeiting the bond that you post.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
Anything else?
No, I'll be.
Okay. If you'll step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork.
What's your name again?
Ms. Rodriguez to the podium and Mr. Garcia to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
It's Abby Rodriguez, 06/19/2001.
Thank you, ma'am. It does look like we're here on a direct complaint that was filed, and it's for an offense date of May 4th, 2024. It does include one count of aggravated DUI with a passenger under 15, a Class 6 felony. One count of aggravated DUI with a BAC of .08 or higher with a passenger under 15, a Class 6 felony. And one count of aggravated DUI with a BAC over .15 with a passenger under 15.
Wait, all three of them were with a passenger?
Yes, so it's all one incident, one date, but you had a passenger under the age of 15 in your vehicle at the time, according to the information. And so you have three counts. They're all different aggravated DUI charges. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you and give you some hearings. You're going to have a status conference on February 14th at 8:30. And a preliminary hearing on February 19th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $250. If you post that bond, you'll be released from custody and you'll have written conditions you need to comply with. That information will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
No.
Okay, if you'll step to your left, they'll give you that paperwork.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Danielle Garcia to the podium and Joshua Ritzman to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
42582, Daniel Garcia.
Thank you, sir. It does look like we're here on two cases on the calendar. The first one is a probation violation warrant. They've alleged you violated terms 3, 5, and 15 of your probation. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you and set a probation revocation hearing on February 14th at 8:30. I'm affirming the secured appearance bond of $100 in this case. You also have a new Superior Court case, and it does include one count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. Probable cause has been found, and I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. You're going to have a status conference on February 14th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on February 19th at 8:30. In this case, you have a secured appearance bond of $50. Between your two cases, it's $150. If bond is posted, you have written conditions of release to include contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. All of that will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
No, yeah. So I'll be released or no?
You have to pay a $150 bond in order to be released from
Oh,
custody.
okay.
Any
It
other
says now I'll be in for how long?
Your next hearing is on February 14th.
Okay.
That's Friday morning, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. If you'll step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork. Joshua Ritzman to the podium and Larry Sachs to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Joshua Lance Richmond, February 12th, 1983.
Thank you, sir. And it does look like we're here on a new Superior Court case. It does include 1 count of narcotic drug possession, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. Probable cause has been found, and I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. You're going to have a status conference on February 25th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on February 27th at 8:30. I am going to release you today to pretrial services. You're going to have written conditions of release you need to comply with, and you're also going to be given an envelope. You need to ensure that you read the instructions in the envelope and contact pretrial services. All of that will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, just step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork. Thank you, sir. Larry Sachs to the podium and Joshua Zimmerman to the chair.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth, sir?
Pardon me?
Could I get your name and date of birth?
2/17/47. I have a little hearing problem, so
Would you like us to get you the headphones that will help so you can hear better?
well, if you like this, then I can understand you.
You can hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Can you give me your name?
My name?
Yes.
Larry Sachs.
Thank you so much, sir. It does look like we're here on a new case, and it does include 1 count of aggravated assault on an officer, a Class 4 felony, 2 counts of obstructing government operations, a Class 1 misdemeanor, 1 count of endangerment, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and 1 count of DUI, a Class 1 misdemeanor. Probable cause has been found, and I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. I'm going to give you some hearings in the downtown Superior Courthouse. You're going to have a status conference on February 25th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on February 27th at 8:30. I am going to release you to pretrial services. You're going to have written conditions of release you need to comply with, and you're also going to be given an envelope. And in that envelope is going to be instructions. You'll need to read those and contact pretrial services once you've been released. Everything will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions, sir?
No, I don't.
Okay, if you'll step to your left, they'll give you that paperwork, okay?
I'm sorry.
If you'll step to your left, they'll give you your paperwork.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Joshua Zimmerman to the podium. Riley Bass to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Joshua Zimmerman, 12/3/1984.
Thank you, sir. It does look like we're here on a new Goodyear Municipal Court case. It does include 1 count of reckless burning, a Class 1 misdemeanor. Probable cause has been found. Due to the nature of your charges, you're not entitled to court-appointed counsel. But I am going to give you an arraignment hearing in the Goodyear Municipal Court, and that'll be on February 26th at 1 p.m. I am releasing you today on your own recognizance that you're promised to appear at that hearing. You have written conditions of release you need to comply with, and you'll need to ensure you attend that hearing. That information, along with the Goodyear Municipal Court phone number, will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
No.
Okay, if you'll step to your left, they'll give you that paperwork. Riley Bass to the podium. Good morning, ma'am. Could I get your name and date of birth?
Riley Bass, July 14th, 1999.
Thank you, ma'am. It does look like you are here on a warrant from Colorado. Did you get an opportunity to read the laminated card that was given to you?
Yes, about the waiving the rights of extradition. I just have a question. I'm sorry. I wasn't aware about the warrant. I have been in Arizona. I'm from Arizona. I only lived in Colorado for 7 months, and I came back a year ago. So I've been already in Arizona for a year, and I have yet to hear about a warrant. I also have a 5-year-old son who's in school. I'm working. I haven't been in trouble at all. I've never dealt with this. So I'm just I don't know. I want to, I have no problem taking care of this, but I just want to know if, I don't have to be extradited because I have my whole life here. or like if I can get some type of like mitigated bond or something, because I'm like my son's only mean of like anything, and I've never been through this before, so I don't know what to do.
We're going to go over your options because you are going to be given an option and you're going to have a choice you have to make this morning. So the first option is you can say, yes, I'm willing to allow Colorado to come pick me up. I'm willing to be extradited to Colorado, meaning you're waiving your right to have any hearing here in Maricopa County. If you were to do that, then what you would be saying is you would be waiving any ability to have a bond, meaning you would be held in Maricopa County jail non-bondable for up to 30 days starting tomorrow if you have no other local pending charges. And that would give Colorado 30 days to come pick you up and take you to Colorado to deal with their charges. Or you're entitled to have a hearing here in Maricopa County. If you chose that option, I would set a hearing on February 24th at 1:30 in the afternoon. And in that situation, you would be saying, I'm not waiving my right to be extradited back to Colorado, and I want the governor of both Arizona and Colorado to sign a warrant extraditing me back to Colorado. In that case, you would have a secured appearance bond of $50,000. That process can take 60 to 90 days, but you would have the secured appearance bond. Or, again, you can choose to waive that right, but if you waive that right, you'll be held non-bondable in Arizona, in the Maricopa County jails for up to 30 days to have Colorado to come pick you up. So with that information, do you know which option you would like to do today?
Whichever one would give me a bond.
Okay, so in that case, you would not be waiving any rights. I would give you a hearing in the Maricopa County jail, or Maricopa County Superior Court on February 24th at 1:30 in the afternoon, and you would have a secured appearance bond of $50,000. If you post that bond, you have written conditions of release. You need to ensure you go to the hearing on February 24th so you don't get a warrant in Maricopa County in addition to the warrant you already have in Colorado. Due to the nature of these proceedings, they're civil in nature, so you would not be entitled to counsel for this hearing, but you can hire one at your own expense. Did you have any questions?
So with my bond, I just have to like call like a bail bondsman or something? I could do that like today?
You should be able to do it today. The officers will eventually get you to a different location. You'll have access to a phone. They typically have a list of bail bonding company phone numbers up against the phone so you can contact different companies to sort that out. It is a secured appearance bond, meaning you can do that. You can use a bail bonding company.
And then if I post the bond, I'll be able to get out like today or tomorrow?
It takes about 4 to 6 hours once it's posted to be released from custody.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. If you'll step to your left, they'll print that paperwork for you, okay? Are we going to have Prince Bahorlo?
We had to move them out.
Okay, is it going to be a house call? Yes. Okay, thank you. All right, case number, I'm going to call case number 9, Ileana Martin, date of birth October 24th, 2005. Do I have the state on the line?
Yes, Your Honor, state is here.
Thank you. And would you like to make your appearance in this case?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, Ashley Stetson on behalf of the state.
Thank you, ma'am. We are here on a new Superior Court case, and it does include 1 count of aggravated assault on an officer, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of aggravated DUI, wrong way driving, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of escape in the 2nd degree, a Class 5 felony, and 1 count of endangerment, a Class 6 felony. I am finding probable cause, and I am appointing an attorney to represent her. I'm setting a status conference on February 14th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on February 19th at 8:30. Ms. Stetson, would you like to place the state's recommendations for release conditions on the record?
Yes, Your Honor. State would be asking for a bond to be set in the amount of $10,000 cash, Your Honor. Your Honor, this incident started on I-17 started on I-17, Your Honor. There was a collision due to the suspect driving the wrong way around milepost 198 yesterday morning. There was no injuries that the state could find coming from that incident. At that time, the suspect did run. The suspect was observed by the victim in the collision running. However, the law enforcement was able to find her. Field sobriety tests were conducted, Your Honor. She did fail field sobriety tests. She did refuse to have a drug recognition expert do a testing on her. She was placed under arrest. She did admit post Miranda, Your Honor, that she had used methamphetamine, fentanyl, and marijuana the night before. She also admitted that she ran, I believe it says in the Form 4 that she ran because she had marijuana in her car and she was underage and she was afraid of being in trouble. She was taken to the local hospital, Your Honor, due to injury sustained. She did undergo medical treatment or an examination. During that time, Your Honor, she did assault a trooper that had escorted her to the hospital. That trooper did sustain injuries to his eye, or not his eye, but the area surrounding his eye, Your Honor. It did, in the Form 4, it did indicate that she did cut the skin less than an inch below his left eye, causing it to bleed. She also, during that time, Your Honor, attempted to escape the hospital. And obviously that creates a concern for the state that she is an escape risk. Also, that is concerning about her ability or willingness to come to future hearings. The state would, along with the $10,000 cash bond, the state would be asking for the following conditions. The defendant not to possess firearms, no contact or indirect contact with victims, witnesses, or law enforcement involved in the investigation, no returning to the incident scene, not to consume any alcohol and or ingest illegal substances. And, Your Honor, due to the fact that this is an underlying DUI, the state would be asking for alcohol and drug monitoring. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, counsel. The court is going to follow the state's recommendation and set a cash-only appearance bond of $10,000. And if bond is posted, she will be released to pretrial services with alcohol and drug testing and monitoring. Written release conditions will include no contact with any alleged victims, complainants, or witnesses. She is not to possess any weapons or consume any alcohol. All of that will be in the written orders. Due to her being a danger to herself, this will proceed as a house call directly after this recording, and if anything changes after I meet with her, I will update the written record. Ms. Stetson, do you intend on appearing on any additional hearings this morning?
No, Your Honor, not unless Your Honor wants the state to stick around.
Nope, I think that covers everything. You're free to stay, and you're also free to disconnect if you would like. Thank you, Ms. Stetson.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Case number 16 and 17, Prince Bahorlo, date of birth August 30th, 1996. We are here on 2 probation violations with allegations of violating term 15. I am going to appoint counsel in this case and set a probation revocation hearing on February 14th at 8:30 a.m. That does apply to both cases. This will proceed as a house call directly after this recording, and if anything changes, I will update the written record. Case number 18, Brian Fuller, date of birth September 11th, 1986. We are here on a new Superior Court case. It does include 1 count of disorderly conduct, a Class 1 misdemeanor, 2 counts of shoplifting, removal of goods, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 1 misdemeanor, 1 count of assault, a Class 2 misdemeanor, and 1 count of obstruction refusal to provide true name, a Class 2 misdemeanor. Probable cause has been found, and I am appointing counsel to represent him. I'm setting a status conference on February 14th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on February 19th at 8:30. I am setting a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,000 in this case. There are written conditions of release that will be included in the paperwork, which include not returning to the scene of the alleged crime, no contact with any alleged victims, complainants, or witnesses. This will proceed as a house call due to being a danger to others. If anything changes after I meet with them, I will update the written record. We will now stand in recess until the 8 a.m. calendar. And Mel, I'm sorry, but I need 9 and 18 reprinted. 9 and 18.